It's day 4 in the wealth transformation series now. What would you say we should go over in day 4 of the wealth transformation series? What is probably the next biggest thing? We talked about the importance of systems, having a system that to follow and work for somebody to get started. We talked about mentors, having a mentor that can, show you the way as a step-by-step system. We talked about mindset, getting out of the mindset of trading time for money. I mean, what would you think is the next important thing that people should know about kind of transforming their lives?
Well, there's a few that come to mind.
What's the one?
Basically, there's 2 that come to mind.
Okay.
You tell me which one do you think is more important. But basically, one of them is figuring out like your daily routine and how much time you're gonna put into it. And the other one would be how to develop your marketing skills, right? Because as an entrepreneur, you're gonna need to sell or promote something.
Yeah.
So to do that, a lot of times in today's world with the internet, you need to be a good copywriter. So to me, copywriting is definitely a very important skill to have, and it's been a foundation to my personal success. Has definitely always had a very solid leg in copywriting. Every success that I've experienced has always had a solid foundation in copywriting. So to me, that's a core. So we can talk about whichever one you think.
Well, you sold me on copywriting. Tell me a bit about copywriting, because that's definitely something. I mean, we're both marketers here, so we both know the importance of copywriting, but you're a master at it. What do people need to know about copywriting, or what is copywriting? What is it?
I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
When I first
is this copywriting happening in action right now?
Oh yeah.
Stories.
Stories is definitely like the way to go as far as copywriting. It's a way to convey a message and basically get people to take action without being very direct and upfront and maybe confrontational or like pushy. So stories work because they just get you in. It's hard to once you're like in the middle of the story, you're submerged and basically like you're more susceptible and more perceptive. But anyways, I digress. The thing you
were telling a story within a story right there.
The
okay.
story I did want to tell you about was actually when I first got started. When I found so I told you before, and that
you didn't even know English.
I had a mentor, right? So
yeah.
When he first told me what to do, I didn't really know English that well. I didn't know. But the thing I did know, and the thing that I did, like when I was writing my websites, I had one website, and I was writing articles every day, and they were basically pitch articles for his product, but they were written very interesting, in a very interesting way. So what I was doing,
explain.
So it was very basic, but the main thing I remember about that period of time, where I was writing from the heart. Like I was putting a lot of emotions into my writing, and I was connecting what I wanted the customer to go. I was finding that place inside myself to be able to pitch them. So my stories were like an emotional roller coaster because I was basically doing it from the heart. So that was the main thing I remember when I first started, was that I remember after the company like brought me here and stuff, like one of the guys in the office read my copy, and he was like, "Wow, this is like so dramatic," and I didn't even realize it. You know, it always just stuck to me, that comment, and I was like, "Yeah, it's like it's like a soap opera." Just
That's
like
awesome.
like all these emotions, and I think that's why it was so effective. You know, because.
You're talking to people about pain and pleasure and hurt
and horrific things and beautiful things and like, you know, just life, you know, like pleasure and pain and like good things.
And then at the end of the day, you tie in your stories to a product you recommend.
This product can give you like success and like joy and, you know, so you connected it. That's what I was doing. I was just basically connecting it. In a very emotional way, and it just worked incredibly well, and that stuck with me.
Why stories? Why not just pitch people? You know, you see all these, like, you know, you see Mad Men or all these other things. Why not just have big ads blaring in people's faces like they have in, you know, on TV? Why do you think stories work better than just big blaring ads?
So when you have something like a big blaring ad and you have like a straight up call to action and very little actual content, big companies can do that and get away with it sometimes is because of their big branding, right? So they already have the branding and the customer is at a later stage. So there's basically 3 stages, right? When the customer does not know that he has a problem, he just basically is unaware. Like let's say the customer doesn't even know they're sick or something, right? Then there's the next stage is when the customer is aware, but they're not aware of the actual solution. Yeah, so they're aware of the problem, but they're like, where do I find the solution? I don't know what exactly it is. And then the latest stage is when they're aware of the problem and the solution.
But they just haven't bought yet?
So they haven't bought. So when you do aggressive marketing, you can do that to the latest stage, to the later stage. So it's like they already know the product, and you're just basically like gonna come with an offer. Right? You're gonna be like, hey, today buy for 35% off. You already know, you know, so you can just skip all of that, right? But the most effective marketing, and basically where the big money is in the other 2 stages, where you're basically going to transition them from stage 1 to buy-in, and that takes a little bit longer. You know, you basically need to make them feel the pain of what the problem is, make them aware that they have a problem. And make them aware that there's a completely different reality out there where they can, you know, they can live a much better life with your product, you know. So that's the thing about copywriting, is like you want to take them on that emotional roller coaster to get them there, you know. So it just depends if they know your product or not, you know.
Dude, I'm hooked. Where do I buy? I like that though.
You know, it's like customer, just like the investment, you know, their investment. And in copywriting, you basically want to train yourself to do like the first stage and the second stage. If you can get those 2 stages, you'll be, that's where the big money is, and because you're basically just transforming audiences to nothing to a customer.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I love that, by the way. So in the next video, I'm gonna talk to you guys about networking, actually. So you guys learned, I mean, this is gold right here, what you guys learned about copywriting. And really, at the end of the day, copywriting is storytelling. You're telling stories. I mean, that's the most natural human form of connection. So this, you know, when you're recommending products to people for your online business, when you're making online sales, it's just storytelling, basically. That's all it is. You're just telling stories just on the internet, so you don't have to actually say them. You just show a person, you know, you find a person that has gone through that, you know, that roller coaster of success or whatever that is. If it's like
lose weight, somebody that struggled and like couldn't figure it out, and they just tried so hard and couldn't literally, they wouldn't be able to lose any weight, and then eventually they figure something out, and then that's the transformation point, and they just, you know, find success. And that's basically the arc, right? And then you plug in, there's like a certain structure to most stories, and even the movies that we watch and books that we read, they all have like certain patterns. So it's no different, except that it just has like a strong call to action at the end.
Yeah. The next video we're going to talk about, I'm actually going to talk to you guys about networking. I think networking is one of the powerful skills in any business, and I'm going to show you how you can do that when you're an online entrepreneur, how you can create those connections with other people, and how you can progress your basically career through doing that. So let's do that in the next video.